With a show of hands, how many amongst us is familiar with the account of Noah? Most of us, if not all of us, I see. Now, we know of his qualities that made him a friend of Jehovah and allowed Jehovah to use him with great privilege. Genesis 6 introduces us to Noah, describing him in three different ways. Turn with me, please, to Genesis chapter 6, and we will see what that description included in verse 9. Genesis 6, verse 9. And follow the reading along with me so we can all understand this description. This is the history of Noah. Noah was a righteous man. He proved himself faultless among his contemporaries. Noah walked with the true God. Here at Genesis 6:9, Noah is described as righteous, as faultless, plus he walked with the true God. Now in reference to faultless, the footnote reads blameless. Now can we think of any others who were dedicated to doing things Jehovah's way? Absolutely we can. But how many among them were also described as blameless, morally pure, or exemplary? Now that narrows our field a little bit. The Bible uses this word to describe another person. This person is Elizabeth, yes, a sister. Many might know her, but not necessarily by name. She was the mother of John the Baptizer. Now turn with me to Luke chapter 1. And starting in verse 5, we'll see how Jehovah viewed her. I'll read Luke 5, 1 through 7, and you can listen for the qualities that made her special to Jehovah. Luke 1, 5 through 7, and it reads, In the days of Herod, king of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah, of the division of Abijah. His wife was from the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. They were righteous before God, walking blamelessly in accord with all the commandments and legal requirements of Jehovah. But they had no child, because Elizabeth was barren, and they both were well along their years. Here it describes Elizabeth as righteous, God-fearing, living her life according to his commands and legal requirements. But she was also walking blamelessly, without reproach, morally right. Now verse 7 gives us a different perspective on what made this difficult for her. She was barren and childless. Now, as a wife of a Levite priest, she would typically have to bear another child to produce a son to follow the line. Now, we can see in verse 24, when she became pregnant, she viewed this as a blessing. Luke 1:24 tells us she received an incredible blessing from Jehovah, and her response was as follows. It says, This is how Jehovah has dealt with me, turned his attention to me to take away my reproach among men. She had been known as the barren woman. Now let's look in Luke chapter 1, verse 36, and I encourage you to follow the reading along with me. This is Luke chapter 1, verse 36. It says, And look, Elizabeth, your relative, has also conceived a son in her old age, and this is the 6th month for her, the so-called barren woman. Now, brothers, when we consider that she was God-fearing and blameless, we also need to keep in mind that it was not without tears and struggle. I'm sure she prayed for faith and endurance in the system she lived within. Now, Jehovah appreciated her hard work, her firm commitment to his ways, her tears and her heartless reputation, even in her old age. Being God-fearing and blameless in a rotten system is by any means not easy. But your efforts do not go unnoticed. Jehovah sees everything we do. He appreciates it all, and his rewards and privileges are great. Although this is the only place Elizabeth is mentioned in the Bible, her example is of no small importance. It's a powerful reminder for each and every one of us in the room to meditate on her example. Brothers, pray for endurance and be God-fearing and blameless.